Welcome to the Industrialist, a video series where we explore the edge of innovation for manufacturing, energy, and mobility. I'm Adam Bogobovic. I'll be your guide and host through stories, strategies, and breakthroughs that are shaping our industrial world. In this series, we sit down with amazing people that drive change, executives and engineers, and we look for what's new, what's changing, what's working, and what's fundamentally redefining of how we build and power our future. I am here at the Singapore Expo with Mike Mackenzie, and Mike is a VP of Digital Operations. And he's the one responsible for shaping and making frontier firm concept real with technologies. Mike, welcome to the Industrialist.
Thank you for having me.
Mike, you talk to customers, you understand what they do, and then you translate this into the technologies that we build, that you build, and your team builds. Tell us, what is the role of AI in your thinking about customers?
Yeah, AI is emerging, but it's also already here. Our customers need to be able to get real value out of their data and create transformational change. Data is the gold currency of today. And doing things with that data is what makes a company more effective, more efficient, and more competitive than their nearest competitors. So data and AI come together completely relevantly for physical systems to achieve more with less.
So data is critical. AI feeds off the data.
Yes.
But I also see change, a lot of change happening, a dramatic change. Why is there so much change with AI? We are used to change, but there is something fundamentally different and new that I can see here.
Absolutely, yeah. We've talked and experimented a lot over the years with the IT-OT convergence and the emergence of things like machine learning, generative AI, things like that. But what has fundamentally changed in even just the last year, just the last 12 months, is the advent of agentic AI and being able to really task an AI with creating a better efficiency, a more sustainable way of working. People are not asking if AI is real, but they're asking very quickly and very relevantly, how do I make AI work for me? And there are so many good examples of companies who are doing this very, very productively, very fast, and making them more competitive.
But is it real? Can this system, can the AI make a difference today? Do you see examples of customers benefiting from it today?
Yes, it's absolutely real, and we do see a lot of customers using this already. Things like self-healing supply chain or self-dispatching field services are already making a huge difference in the factory.
Do you have other examples, like specific customers you can point to?
Definitely. Chevron is using AI in the edge with leak detection cameras. So being able to scale out across their entire operation using a very low-cost camera, edge processing, and some AI on board to detect leaks across their entire pipeline.
Okay, you're making it sound very simple. I know it's not. I know there's a whole concept called adaptive cloud when you actually pull the pieces of technology together to make it work. What is adaptive cloud?
Yeah, adaptive cloud is a great vehicle for us so that we can stop talking about hybrid or edge or cloud, and we just leave decision-making where it should be, we leave data where it should be, and we make sure that the cloud comes down to the edge while the edge also goes up to the cloud. We really make sure that across the entire value chain, there's one control plane, one data plane, making the entire architecture very, very simple to maintain and manage.
Okay, so that is definitely the way to think about it end to end. Does the ecosystem play into this question? What about our partners?
Definitely. We build the scaffolding on which our partners really fill in the gaps and deliver the completed solutions. We don't do the industrial automation that our partners do. Our partners have great 3D solutions. Our partners have great visualization solutions. We can manage the data, the infrastructure, and really create the scaffolding on which these solutions are built.
So let's lift it up a bit. What are the big wins? Where do customers see a real difference?
One of my favorite ones is self-dispatching field services. When you think about a machine that can actually self-diagnose, look at itself, look at the data, identify patterns, and then send off a message saying, I need help. This is what the standard operating procedure will be to fix me. Here's what my parts list should be, and here are the skills the person should come with in order to fix me, as well as here's my rough time frame in which that person should come. These are amazing outcomes for people who are doing maintenance on this equipment all the time.
We have this concept when you start putting data together, understanding the data as a set for manufacturing, it's called digital twins.
Absolutely.
Does it still matter? Does digital twin still play a role in manufacturing?
Yes, absolutely. And when you think about digital twin, it means so much more than the 3D outcome that many people think about. We need to think about digital twins as fully structuring the data and adding the context of the relationship data between pieces of equipment so that we can understand how something upstream in a process can impact something downstream in a process. And by taking all of that into account, we structure that into what we would think of as a twin, and we can then represent that in any way, through a dashboard, through a 3D twin of the site, anything we wish, but it creates that visibility that is a step one for making those improvements.
I had a really interesting conversation with Uli. Uli was talking about the frontier firm and kind of abstracting the concept of making a difference with AI in manufacturing.
Yes.
You are making this real with technology that sits with the manufacturers on the production floor. But I have to ask you a question. What is the role of AI in what you are describing? Is there an AI in the edge?
Yes, absolutely. So when we think about edge processing, we need to think about making decisions as close to the equipment and as close to the process as possible. And this means that we need to be able to run inference, we need to be able to run AI right in the edge and make sure that those decisions don't require any connectivity whatsoever. They're better with connectivity, they're augmented with connectivity, and they're trained by connectivity, but the decision still needs to happen independently of connectivity. So AI in the edge is a very real and very necessary thing for our customers.
On this show, we don't normally talk about specific technologies, but I have to ask you about one of them.
Sure.
There is this amazing thing called Azure IoT Operations.
Yes.
What is it? How does it play into this picture?
Yeah, Azure IoT Operations is our way of delivering adaptive cloud directly to the shop floor and making sure that we can connect to the entire physical ecosystem of a company and making sure that we get that data, we can process that data, make real-time decisions on that data, and augment that with a cloud connection. So Azure IoT Operations really brings together the edge, the cloud, and the physical operations of a company to deliver that business outcome.
Is there a difference between applying the concepts and technologies you talked about between an enterprise, a large organization, and a small, medium manufacturer?
Now, the challenges of a single site are very specific to a site often, but they are amplified when we go to the larger enterprise. And so the challenges that each site faces are going to be unique to a site without being unique problems to solve, if I can say it that way. So, large enterprise, small enterprise, we all face the same challenges. This technology is scalable from the smallest to the largest, and it's just the complexity of the problem that you're trying to solve that becomes the real complexity in all of that.
So now we are at this amazing show in Singapore here at ITAP. A lot of companies coming here are the smaller and medium-sized manufacturers. If you were advising one of them, if you were advising all of them, what would you say is the most critical over the next 12 months?
The most critical is to understand that AI is real, that it's here now. This isn't futurism. This isn't thinking far ahead into the future. If you don't start embracing this new paradigm right now today, you will be left behind. You will be already missing opportunities for improvement and missing opportunities for bringing real value to the operation. Having that data is critical, but applying AI on that data is a real game changer.
Mike, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for being part of the Industrialist. If this conversation sparked any questions or thoughts, please share it with us. Share it with your network. I'm Adam Bogobovic, and this was the Industrialist. Thank you.